thing I noticed is that I had a lot who did better with the diagrams than with the CBC, which was, so I realized that, oh, I've taught this kind of new skill well, but now I need to pick up on what, the CBC skill and remind, even though I did teach it, it's just when diagrams came into play, that was like, let's get these diagrams, especially the pH, and I had like a lot who got the pH sound, which was good, so that's one thing I noticed, that they were catching on to the diagrams a lot easier or a lot better than the other.
And we can pay attention to, if CVC is a problem, there's kind of two categories that can fall into. So CVC can be a problem if they're not giving a sound per letter they see, right? They don't actually know how to blend the sound, so they could say at, but then they say ketchup, or it could be that they actually know how to say a sound per letter and they even blend it up. So I could say cut, but the misconception there was actually the short vowel sound, not the actual act of blending a CVC word, right? So those kiddos can kind of sometimes be two different groups. Okay, so I want to real quick,
sorry. One thing I also noticed, I want to tell y'all is that, so the ones that I had that when they were doing like plut, that went like I went ahead and seen how they did on the segmenting, like just since they had already segmented those two sounds. So that's just, if y'all wanted, like that's one way I noticed to see, are they segmenting yet? Because I had a lot who aren't, but that just kind of gave me like a, insight on who's there and who's not too.
another good like observation, right? Like in that, are they
segmenting those blends, because that's.
So I wanted to show you this tool, and if it's something we want to use, we could make one for each of you. But the way it works is we could kind of group our kiddos by these phonics skills. What I want to show you, and I think y'all are noticing too, is like CVCE is going to be your unit work in this next unit that you do. This is about to be your grade level standard. So anything behind that is a gap and an issue that we need to try to clear up. So what we want to do, and the reason the small groups will be purposeful and helpful, is we can try to close those before we get to the start of this unit. Because if they're struggling here with short vowel or blending, then this is going to be a challenge.
That's silent E, right?
Yeah. So what we can, and Miss Brooks kept her separated, but we could say like there might be kids who are in the CDC group, but then some could be fine there and they're actually in, and we could even decide to split like blends diagraphs, right? But this is just a tool that we could put kiddos' names in and group them so that we know when we plan this group who's gonna be in it.
So we'll also be bringing in two long vowels too then, right?
In the CBC.
Okay. So if we have students struggling with that short vowel.
So like basically what this is saying is your whole group is gonna hit that silent E long vowel, but the kiddos who don't have it, like we have to, that is small group reteach for them.
Okay.
Because the unit whole group is gonna hit above that.
Okay.
Yeah. So do y'all have a way that you already have them grouped by the skill? A tool? Okay.
I just did it based on reading level, and then I kind of looked at their map score and made sure that it wasn't like super different based on the score. And then like I know last year we looked at the like 4 components of the map test and kind of had other groups for that too. So I was kind of hoping we could do that. But mine are just grouped based on like reading level, and I feel like the reading level kind of like correlates with the skill anyways.
Yeah. So there are, right, like this CBCE is gonna be about that.
Yeah.
It's gonna move up.
Yeah. My first year I was small groups.
But I think that's a good point. Like this tool and this small group is like a phonics focused small group. So it's not the only type of small group we can do, but it is one type. Okay, so let's do this. Does everybody have the name of 3 to 4 students who did well on that phonological awareness but need help with CVC?
We're talking grade
Yes,
level.
I have to. I have a decoding group.
Yeah.
I was thinking like,
See, my one friend, I don't even know where to put her because
to be all you have any that you think we work with, like short vowel sounds or CVC or
that's
we like
good.
sit,
And look at that.
do letter sound. Like, see how I have my letter ID and letter sound?
Yeah.
Like, look what he's saying.
You already know that.
He's writing the next thing. I like that.
Does this friend have letter ID?
So they told me when we went to do his eyesight test that he can't even recognize me.
Okay, so here, let's take a step back. Let's everybody make a copy of this form for you. If you already have yours, then like don't redo that.
Okay.
But if we haven't grouped them by phonic skills yet, then let's use this form.
Could you share,
Um,
share that or is
It's
it?
on the PLC.
But like don't, if you have yours already.
Okay.
don't worry about it. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is look through your students. If you have students who, like I know some of you, we did letter ID sound. If they know less than 20, put their name in here, okay? And then once they're in there, just leave them there. Then move on, and let's see kiddos who, and then those, you entered the percentages, but now the percentages get a big overview, but like now let's put student names to those percentages. So any kiddos who, did not, like scored, did not meet in that CBC, like let's put their names in that next column.
So question, if they met, are we picking their group based on reading level? Or like my one friend on an F, like he's already gonna be,
So,
like,
so your,
Right.
we're talking about that one
Put it
friend,
beyond.
yeah, he's an
or
outlier
did
though.
you,
That's something that takes-
your GHI, like those kiddos, did you go past the CBC?
I did. I went past CBC with everyone except for,
So you already have,
So,
so who is,
today's focus
you
is
have any
on
students who are
phonics.
stroke, who have?
You can, did you have any fall in like art control or bowel team?
I had a ride.
So I would look through your.
I mean, I
students
checked the one
and
who
see,
was like,
work
yeah.
on
my
CBC.
So like for you, it's not gonna be a
Technically,
majority
right,
of your class, like
So
most of
by
them are
then,
gonna
when
pass
we
that.
start CBC, I think it's next week. They should be.
But you
have-
should only have, okay.
So even if they
Yeah,
are.
so like where did she, where
Yeah,
did you
because
stop
the
her?
thing is, even if they are approaching,
At
that's
grade
still
level.
not me, but they're
So,
supposed
let's
to
see,
be
like, I would
elite.
say
They
she
should
could
like
clear
take
that
that
up, so you
I
should
think
put
I
her
put
on
her
there.
yeah.
So all my.
Yeah, I tried mine wasn't.
Yeah, so for sure, but then the thing is,
See if
I'm
there's
not
anybody
confident
else
that
that
you
you
fall, like, you can
fall
fall
into
into
that.
so that you can.
Oh, I did all four
No, only
quarters
for your
with the,
coding. So like if you have someone who's a pro, like if you don't have that many does not meet in CBC, I would still like if you have someone who's like
the vowel
approaching,
teams
but
are the tricky
you
part.
know,
I'm
they just
They
want.
don't know which one to use.
But when you say first, do you mean like, would I say like close to
No, that's
five
it.
or like? No, I'm saying like, would I say like close to like five? Or would I say like, if she had 8, would I do her, cause she's close, she just missed one? Like, would I do her? Like, she lives
Oh,
like,
so, yeah, no.
so the ones that's at 8 to 10.
Yeah, it's just the ones like, if you have anyone who like,
Which one's that?
see like him, put him in
Yeah,
there.
that's not mine.
Put him in there, take Jonathan out.
I need him in everything.
But he won't be able to do this.
Jonathan needs to be in every group.
Cause he has to
S
sound
G
out.
S I N G O D. Oh, that's not me, I'm teaching.
So he's like, we want, that's
Yeah.
the scary part about it, that's what I was saying the last time, like, I'm just trying to do this same small group work.
Like, I'm just trying to do
Just wanna make sure, say if it's right.
Are they going to be in
Yes.
CBC work?
I'm gonna
Yeah, because when we start, long vowel, silent, they, basically what we're saying, they should have, be already needing
Let's type
these
that
three.
phone a lot.
See, we haven't tested vowel teams yet.
So if they're not behind right now, but so that you bridge that gap, you go ahead and put them in that small group. Like, and then like when you divide, so say you have 8 students, you can have 4 students who are,
What'd you think?
they really
If
think
we
they
haven't done vowel teams yet, just put them
Then
all
you
in
have 4
vowel teams.
students who is like, oh, they kind of.
Because they don't know
You know what I mean,
anything.
like you can separate them based on,
Okay.
like if you have someone who's like, oh, they only need to work on the letter A vowel. You know, you can have like a group of those who already help
So let's
with
just
the
look through your
vowels.
phonological first, yeah. let's
He
look
is
through that.
there.
So I will put her
Because
over
Tom
here.
said
Yes,
he just will
okay,
not
can I
stop
add a
there.
column? I think it's gonna help a little bit more.
Eve, Sean.
So what we're gonna do, like those kiddos that we tested, like they have to get this underway.
Okay, so
And
I'm
then,
trying to-
Yes, yes, sir.
no, I don't see,
Rio,
well,
Myra,
if
Thank you.
you want to add that column.
Okay.
then what we
So yeah, put
Okay.
Penelope.
I think this is phonological.
Just for.
So now, these are the, do you have this one? This assessment?
Cause it looks like she's trying to make these make sense.
Oh, no, you're okay. Okay, well then, because you have it by student, that's fine. So, okay, so then let's just.
I mean, do you mind looking at my student?
Was fine, so we're not student name.
But he's like,
Well, yeah, no, I do
Was
one
fine.
right,
Okay.
that's right what they say,
Was
I'm
fine.
not doing that
But
right.
then-
And if they're not
Sure.
giving any answer.
Because he's like, as long as he has an idea, he'll be, because he has to.
Yeah, he-
Because those are the things.
So like,
And she gives me
good.
A.
So let's come down. We're gonna say.
Yeah, so she'll
Let's
say,
put down.
okay, so
Okay, so
I
we're
bring her
just
back
gonna say
here,
like
so
we
she
need to
has
look
Well, I
at.
put what
blue, and then all of a sudden she'll say
So
something
she
completely
should be
different.
in
On the
the
next
So
time,
put
she sees
single
it,
and
so she's, knows it, I can't.
So he doesn't need to go in that chronological,
And so that's why I
right?
put that,
Doesn't
she's
go
in
there,
here.
but then we'll look
She's like
at
in
something.
between.
Right, like she'll know.
And I have
what
her,
it
but it's not,
says.
you can hear her try to like.
Yeah,
And I'm not
yeah.
working.
Yeah.
But I feel like we should know a version of it.
And I
And then we'll know that like this does right
What did y'all put in
within
for
phonics,
phonics?
he's ready, he's ready.
How?
to
About
do
the
that.
AM
So that's
phonics.
not what it is right now either.
Did I send that to you?
I
You're
know.
not gonna have one.
I was gonna say, I was gonna tell you I didn't.
We didn't need it for first grade.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask, I was like, I know I told you I didn't know, but maybe.
Yeah, after I talked to both of you, I was like,
I
yeah.
know, I was like, I looked at my group, but I could test again.
Oh, I'm sorry, so don't do it, don't do it.
She's not
Okay.
influential.
Don't do
Okay.
it.
knows all
I was
that.
We
gonna
delivered
do
it for
it.
you.
I'm gonna do it.
Two phonics and she went
Okay. She would go, she would see, basically.
G
So
through.
you all didn't need one,
And then the
kindergarten
ones
only
that she
needed one,
has
maybe
for the normal
they could
school,
use all four
but
of
yeah,
those.
that one, they-
Right.
Right.
But then
Right.
there's one
Right.
side that I will, it's one silver test, and one for this one.
Right.
This is like.
Good deal.
Yeah,
But
just
then-
to,
Great
Like my car
deal.
manager, you went over that.
What am I doing? Where
Courtney just came in yesterday, we had to figure that out, so like.
It said that she got maxed
yeah,
out.
we did comprehensive.
And so she had to give the
Oh,
she
she
heard that.
Courtney,
So
look
she
at
did-
my
Yes, I can hear it, like,
Okay,
that's
so
the word.
keep going, does that make better sense? So then we'll just make sure everybody's
Oh,
in,
man.
but if they,
This is her.
I would say, if
She's in
they
between
find
here.
all this, we just put them down for now.
Okay, that's fine.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, so perfect,
Yeah.
because what I was saying is,
Because
sugar
she wants
is
to
basically what
But
we
as soon as I
need,
start putting
like,
things together,
we don't need to necessarily
same.
do
I know
this
kindergarten
for
is the same.
And so that's why she
small
she
with
could
them,
get
because
this.
they're ready
But
to
all
go
the same.
through the
Just what she was
instructions.
trying to
We
do.
know phonics has
I
to be.
emailed her, she won't respond.
So you
And
have
that's why I
everybody
put
caught
it.
it?
Yeah, I'm just waiting on one person.
I mean.
Okay, so
well,
I
was
was
not
not
supposed to
accurate.
accurate. Anything else said.
And
Where my house was because, okay,
And
six,
then, these are my like slightly above and these are my more outliers, like yeah, okay.
Put him in.
That's right. Okay.
Because like we haven't tested it all.
So I was
can't
gonna
Oh,
say
say,
that
what
we're
we're
going on.
doing is,
So they hear all the sounds like.
and basically anybody you have here
So
to
that's
here,
still kind of.
we are saying
Go
there's
from
not a
that.
need
Yeah.
to have a
I don't know
so
how you
these
say
are our
it.
phonics, so
Correct.
you're absolutely right.
No, because this is not a, this is not
And I mean, for those
Yeah.
other
Because
friends, like,
Because y'all have a change.
like how here,
Yeah.
we're having
Yeah.
a they think.
Now
you
you
can-
can.
I can bring it down, you can
Yeah.
drive it, like, I can work on it, one drive it. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah, we have
just
to
like
say,
writing
but
something.
we're doing
I will.
it.
Okay,
So-
so just figure out the, everybody on there?
So right now, she
She
gotta do this
because
payment
they're catching it.
until she figures out.
Yeah, the thing is,
Did you
so
get it?
I think she'll
And
do.
she can trust, and she can trust you to do
Okay.
it for you.
And then also, I have a question.
No, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, we can go back to what you told me.
Right, right.
And so.
No rushing.
I'm
Yes, Sean. And he getting C's, and I'm like, I need you on the
Yeah,
A.
sir.
And then one of my kids, Kendall, she ain't gonna lie, the C, she doing good to C, but I know B is gonna be a strong B, and I don't have no B.
Brooks, what group is Ari? What group is Ari?
Ari
That
is
is her
C,
excited.
C,
Her
B.
side, she's excited.
She's my only person that, wait, is me Samantha? Me, she's my only one that I me. You
Really?
can see it,
So far, more than the one that I do.
See,
She
you
could.
Wow.
Or you can tell her my work for her.
Okay.
And then you click the student class roster teacher. Yes,
Okay.
and what you do is like have one of these for each subject, and then you just like phonics first and then you'll put up your
Does everybody have their students on that tool?
high frequency level, and you'll just write that down. And your M, and that way you have it all, like, something like five. And that way you'll just be there, like all your data will be there.
Okay, can you do this like for math?
Oh, yeah, like for math, first time.
Math area.
Solve.
One day, just one day, I
Yeah.
can just let me know when it's just
That's
a lot for me. I see the worst.
So this like, they're reading it
More than
they're seeing
So I never had to know what to
Yeah.
for.
And it's for her.
So like really,
You could almost put their all
easier and then put that little note.
And it's just all right there, you don't have to all group it.
And so she's.
And then you can put, I put that in my small group.
So,
Okay.
And that's what I think, because of.
Alright, I think everybody has their kids grouped.
I'll show you this later.
You'll come back in 5,
Rounded.
4, 3, 2, perfect. Okay, so now that everyone has them on their tools, and I know like we didn't test above, because for report card it was only that CVC. But what this tool is just showing us, anyone that is ready for that CVCE, like they're gonna meet with you in small group, but they don't need a heavy phonics teach. Like they're good because they're ready for grade level. Anyone below though, like that is gonna be our focus. Or we need some explicit teach. So last time we talked about that rally, try, and I was gonna show you how to use the jump rope readers to plan that out and what that could look like. And so this one that we wrote was that phonological, starting with blending and then looking at CVC. So on your tool, just so you have student names and faces in mind as we plan this out, this small group that we're gonna practice and plan is anybody in the CVC words category. And possibly pushing into that phonological awareness a little bit. But so look at those friends and we're gonna think through planning a lesson for them.
question.
Yes.
Is this something that we can do sort of MTSS style? Like if I only have one kid who needs this, can she go to somebody else to
Yeah.
do that?
For sure.
Okay,
I would 100%.
not to
do
like
that.
put her on.
No,
someone else,
but
like
like-
we can divvy up the.
I think that's a good idea. So if
Yeah.
you only have one, but this, like, Ms. Lewis has 3 in a group that
Right.
could go join and have 4. No
Right, and
problem
like the
with
R control valves,
Yeah.
like if I have 4, I can take 2 if they're
that.
outliers.
If somebody's
and
already
agenda.
ready
Yeah.
for that,
And
because
were
that's
you
the
already,
thing.
you ready for it?
I'm ready for her.
Your friend, you know what I'm talking about. What is she?
Oh,
Well, hold on.
CVC.
So if you
And
need
then the other friend, blends and diagrams. So that I only have one in each of those.
How do you make it so?
And then CVC, I
Make a
have
big
regular
one.
size group.
Yeah, so I can print it.
Copy. Well, we'll write it out too.
But I'm like, I'll trade somebody.
Yeah.
I'll trade
But I think
too.
that's a great conversation. So it is like if you have an outlier, then we can definitely switch.
Alright.
Almost because I don't want a kid in
Okay,
a
that's
group
what I
by
need to do.
themselves, like I
Okay.
feel like that's like counting, like singling them out,
Okay,
you know?
you can go back to it, that's what it is, sorry.
Alright, you have 2 different sets of jump rope readers in your room. There's set A, and then there's set B. Set A is going to match the kindergarten phonics skills. So what we're talking about is that CVC, CCVC. So if we're trying to close gaps, then this is a resource for you right now for those kiddos. And it's gonna follow that phonics sequence. Set B, which is like the teal box, is going to jump into the first grade standards, CVCE. So if you have kids that you did running records and accuracy is a problem, right? You can go ahead and use those, but for these kiddos we're trying to close the gap, we're gonna be in the set A. The way it's set up, are there a little like 6-book series? So the set A is by color. On the back of each set, like this is, Nat and Tam, there are 6 or 5 books. Tam and the Ants, Tam and the Pan, Tam and Min, Tam and the Sand, and Tam and the Pigeon. So in each book, there are 3 little chapters. It shows you that the letter focus for this,
Oh, that's not
is
15.
that our 15
Yes.
minutes? Nice, okay,
Oh,
15
good.
minutes.
I was gonna say no.
Time stresses me out, just kidding. Okay, so this has the letter focus of NTANS. So we could even think about like those kiddos who are taking on or need phonological, how we can also push into CBC. So that one is the red, and it's gonna go through, yeah. But there are 6 copies of each one. Thank you. Alright, so then if you look at orange, it still has, now we have Anna and Pip, it's a series. Inside each book, there's like a little sound it, read it, and then a little description of what's gonna happen in the text. Okay, but all of these in set A are going to be good for CBC practice. So if you brought book 1, did everybody bring book 1? You don't have this
Yeah, she
box?
doesn't have jump rope because she's in.
Oh, cause I think we have an extra set.
Yay.
I was gonna say there were 4, right?
I thought we did 4.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
she
there
did.
were 4. Okay,
You
we'll
can
come
buy
back to that.
No, but I didn't get one.
I'll write it
Yeah, she
down.
didn't get one.
Alright,
Remember when she came in that day? Didn't she take a?
I'll write it down. We'll get it. We'll figure
I
it
was
out.
like, I don't have it.
Question before we
I
start.
don't got that box.
For words like Tam,
Mhm.
like,
That's an annoying word.
yeah, like how do you?
They struggle.
Yeah, so that if you,
Just saying.
right, break it up, we don't say tam, like we don't say. So I mean, I would just say in the story, there's a little girl named Tam.
Okay,
It
so
was
just tell them that.
Tam, and I might even say like, watch, am. This is a little word am, right? We say it just the same way, but feed it to them, and then let like there's gonna be plenty of other CBC work, so like do that one.
Okay.
Okay. So if we're thinking through that rally try, we said do phonological first. Then we would do blending of words in isolation, blending words in sentences, and then the book. So if we were gonna use whichever book did you bring, does everybody have Tam and the Ants?
No,
No
Okay.
Tam, no ants.
Here, Tam and the Ants. I have extras.
Courtney, can you say that order one more time? Of the,
Phonological blending, and then
oh, I see, so.
blending with print in isolation, then sentences, then decodable.
Okay.
So if this is our decodable for that CBC group, right? It has 3 chapters, so if we think of 1 chapter at a time for a small group, look through chapter 1 and find some CBC words that you would want students to blend through. So just looking through chapter 1, write down some CBC words that you would want kids to blend through.
Yeah, what do y'all need?
Man.
I got it, whatever you need.
And do you like that one?
What did you say?
I'll be a
Give
big-
her a
But you should know it's
Give her a
not
pink.
May, it's not.
No,
What it-
mine go
and-
men. They wanted to say
You're
men.
But that's Manette, that's
The other thing annoying
Thank you.
in here is the word an, drives them
Oh,
bonkers,
Okay.
because there's.
You're looking for words that are CBC.
I know, I'm just saying, I read
Nat,
this book.
Matt,
Mhm.
man,
And that, yep,
ant.
Alright, so we have, call them
but what's funny.
Nat,
is
Man,
man,
Ant is only once in here,
No, ants.
that's not.
It won't
know
say
that-
see ant, they should be able to say ants.
They shouldn't.
They should.
See, this is the only place.
okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
well, it's not CBC. I'm sorry.
Ants,
That's not
ants.
CBC.
Well,
But they should be able to look at the picture and see that.
Yeah.
Someone kind of looks like a spider.
Sorry.
I've read
Okay,
this
what else?
book
They're gonna be like,
with
this
my
is a
children.
What else?
Did we say Nat? You said put
I
Nat?
haven't put Nat,
No,
so
that's the
man,
one
Nat,
Oh, we just in chapter 1?
Yeah.
Just
Oh.
chapter 1.
did you see?
Sam?
I was gonna say
No.
Sam, but it's.
Oh, but Sam has that.
Well, we could.
It's in chapter 2 though, so.
That's
You could,
chapter
what else
two.
do you find in chapter 2?
Oh, Tam, Matt.
Tam. No.
Sat?
I think that's the only word.
Nat.
Sam?
Yeah.
Do we have Sam?
Sat.
Alright, Now, also looking through there, are there any high frequency words that students
See.
might need to blend through?
Oh, blend through. Well,
I mean,
see,
I mean that
am,
I mean like they gotta know that.
They should know
And,
on.
cause I was thinking about even is, right?
Is.
Could, it's not, it doesn't have that consonant at the start, but it's the same idea of like, they could blend through that.
On, cause they wanna say that's
on,
no.
Right, okay, so, we have is on, alright, and then look at just look for what irregular high frequency words do you see in there? Like, so it looks different than what, like, if I were just to blend
It's
through
like
it.
The.
Like,
Like,
right?
Yeah, yeah, like the C, okay. So now that we have some CVC words.
Question according to.
Uh-huh.
So when we get to like ice cream, we don't need to like would we say like sometimes see those, or we wait until we get to that? Or like how, or we
I think
just
it's a
read
great
it?
question. So think about ice and then cream. What phonic skills are in those two words?
Long vowel.
So
Vowel
the
team.
long vowel, right, and vowel team. And so that's further along the continuum for these kids. So as they get to that, I would chime in and read it with them. Yeah, it would be in my introduction and I would read it with them because the real work we need them doing is now, am I gonna chime in at the word sat? No, like I'm gonna prompt them to like blend your sounds, say it smoothly, so that, but yes, like
And they'll
words
pick
that
up ice cream a lot sooner than they will sat,
Well,
because they
so
don't
they-
have to sound
so
it
they
out
have
and they know the
pictures.
picture
Yeah, they
relates.
look at the photo, yeah.
So-
Yeah, I'm just talking about the skill though.
does that, but
Yeah,
that's
so
a good
just
question.
breeze past.
So if it's past where we're instructing on that phonics continuum, then like provide support, and it's okay, right then, because we want them to take on the work.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a list of CVC words, even some high frequency that they could blend through, like is and on. So if we're thinking about a rally and we want to just practice blending sounds in words, which words could you select from that list that we made? I should have opened
Nat.
rally, try.
Nat
You
and
type
sat.
that in here.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I should have had that open. Are you gonna type it on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nat sat.
Okay, so let's talk about for the rally, what would that sound like? So let's practice through one of those. Which word?
Oh, so we show them the word.
That.
Could we show the?
So this is phonological. So instead of showing the word, I'm gonna have my word. So if we say we wanna do sat, this phonological, remember, is, hey, today we're going to blend sounds together to say a word. And we're just, so if we know sat, we would say, listen to the sounds I say. Sat. My word is sat.
Oh, so we're doing it just like the blending of
Yes,
session.
just that
Okay.
blending.
Okay.
We're just gonna, the rally as a warm up, because most of them, they're comfortable with that, right? This is meant to be easy. But we could use words that they're then gonna decode in isolation,
Okay.
right? So today we're gonna blend sounds together to say a word, listen, you would do possibly an I do together, so that they can see, right? So if we like sat, we would do that one together. Then what's one that you could do, or you do that one by yourself? What's one you could do together?
Nat.
This stays in rally.
Or Nat, either one, Nat or
Math,
Nat.
right? So it's gonna sound the same. Now do it with me, right? I'm gonna say the sounds and blend it together. At, what's my word?
Nat.
Math. Okay, and then if they say something weird, oh, that's not quite right? Let's try it again. And then maybe pick one more, but let's look at one of those high frequency words. We could do on, okay?
On's a
So,
hard one.
alright, let's do one more together. If I say, what's my word? On, okay? So that's all that rally, but it's really quick, okay? Then if we move into try one, which was it in isolation, right? Just deep, but now we bring in the print, okay? So we could do some of the same words, or we could pull more words off of our list that we pulled from the book. So, in this one, we could write it on index cards, we could write it on sticky notes, but this time, now they're gonna learn to touch and tap, right? So, let's see.
Can we use our L Pony box, like laminating ones?
Yeah,
Would that be
yeah. So I would though, they're meant to see, oh, that's our 5 minutes.
Don't mind.
Okay, with this though, they're meant to see the print. So you could though, like say we wanted to do sat in this part, you could have it in 3 boxes so they start to make that connection to writing. But really for this, you're showing them, okay, just like we can hear the sounds and blend them, when we're reading, I'm gonna touch the letter and make the sound. So watch me do it. At. My word is sat. So you could even use those same ones from that phonological awareness that we just did, but now you're repeating it with it written down where they can touch and tap. So index card, in the boxes, out of the boxes, it's just that they need to see it and say it and blend it, okay? And then that try two, we could write sentences or we could pull sentences out of the text. So, like this one right here, Nat is on a mat. We could write it on a sentence strip, like make it bigger. And now you're showing them, okay, you were really good at saying the sounds and then blending to make the word. Now let's do it in a sentence, right? Some words you'll need to blend. You'll need to say the sound. Other words you're gonna know right away. Find the word you know right away. A, right? You know, hopefully. Right? So, but like, because then what? But I say that in all seriousness of like sometimes kids think they now have to blend every sound in every word. So give them permission. Like, no, you know that word. You don't have to blend it, right? So it might even be like I could almost see they might need to blend Nat. So if they look at you and you're like, okay, say the sound, touch and say the sound. Let's blend it together. At, Nat. All right, let's go back. Nat is on a. Oh, blend those sounds together. At mat. Read it all together. Nat is on a mat. Okay? So then they put it. And then at the sentence level, because that's pulled out, right? But then I would even say, oh, where was Nat? Right? To get that, like make sure they're reading and thinking about like what they're actually reading. But you can see the scaffold of sounds, words in isolation, because then they really got to focus on blending in this one word. Then we lifted the level just a little, right? To one sentence, left to right, words they know, words they don't. And then for that link, or even a day 2, like depending on your time, it would be like, okay, today we're gonna read chapter 1 about Tam and the ants. As you read, there will be words you know right away and others that you can practice blending the sounds. And then you let them read. And the way the kits are set up, you have 6 of each book. So then, like, you could do it even in partnerships, like 2 read together, and then you could let them practice it by themselves. But we're really paying attention, like you said, to blending through the CBC, and then other words we can support in, okay? But basically, that same structure works along, like, all of these books. It's just changing the skill. So, I think all of these, if we got your other books or set 2, like it'll start to name the blends or the digraphs. So like the kiddos who were past the CBC but blends and digraphs, all the same work, but now I'm in a decodable that has the blends and digraphs.
Question.
Yeah.
So, just because I'm watching out of time, for next time?
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Love it. What should we do for next time?
That's what I was gonna ask, so what would be our next step? Like y'all wanna bring back running records?
Map data.
Map data?
Well, I mean, we could do running record and map together.
This is all map
Yeah,
data.
because this is very much, and I think y'all also have map fluency. This is
Yeah.
a very
Yeah.
phonics focused, and I think we want
So
to
can we
follow
focus
this,
on the fluency then?
the map fluency.
Can we do both?
So they
Like
take
just
that in
map
October,
2
right?
minutes?
Can we also do reading
I think
levels?
next week.
Yes,
Yes,
let's
we
do,
Okay.
let's
Okay,
put
right,
running
what were you
records
supposed to
and, okay.
I put running records and map data, but what else?
Okay, that's good then, that's good, map data and running records, cause
Yeah.
map is, fluency is technically map.
Okay, but then also, before we go, can we look at a date? So if we, continue to provide support planning and teaching these small groups, let's pick a date that we want to just re-give CBC and CCBC to those kiddos who are on your tracker, right? So like, we teach a little and then let's go ahead and pick a date that we want to reassess that. Cause I do wanna talk map and run, but we want to keep this going, right?
By when?
Let's say,
I was gonna say, how about October 3rd?
Well, before a report card,
I was gonna say
yeah, when's
October
the end of the
3rd.
first 9 weeks?
October 13th.
Oh my.
So we have 1, 2, basically 3 weeks, because the grades will be due on the 11th.
Okay.
So.
So do we
can
wanna
do
teach
one
that?
of our,
How about, I
like
mean,
check, like
I
that
like-
could be one of our check-ins on Wednesday, so let's do
Yeah.
the 4th.
October.
So
wait,
teach
yeah.
a little
October
from
4th.
now to
I'm
the
like, what month are we
4th.
in?
Yeah.
October 4th.
And that way we can check in at our
Y'all's
planning,
planning.
yeah,
Okay,
and see,
perfect.
make sure everybody's.
Okay, because what we should see and what we want is them shifting closer to that CBCE, and then.
That way we can do a check-in as a
Right.
team instead of having
Yeah.
a PL.
I would just challenge you to create a goal for that, like,
out of how many students by October 4th do you want to move to this level?
Yeah.
So you have like actual data that you're tracking.
So we could look.
Yeah.
Would you,
Can you
if I
add
could do
set
grade
goals?
level?
Where
Cause
are
now
you?
that you have your kids like
Set a goal.
plotted in there, we can literally count like how many kids are in CBC
Mm-hmm.
for the grade level and think about like in that 3 weeks, how many of those do we want shifted into?
Okay, so as a grade, yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be better.
yeah, yeah.
So as a grade level.
And the
we'll-
same
so
with
that
the-
Wednesday, we'll come back and check our goals.
Exactly.
So what do y'all say right now, real quick, what's the percentage?
Well, I think it's
I
gonna
think
take
it
more than 1 minute, cause
depends.
you're gonna need to add.
Oh, I thought we were just saying in general.
Well, because we have the
Yeah.
baseline data, we can see like,
I would say like
I
for
know what you're
the,
saying,
like,
but I mean, regardless. we-
like for the
Yeah.
high percentages, it does not meet, like at least half of the does not meet,
Yeah.
hopefully move to approach.
Cause I only have, the reason I asked, I only have 3 does not meet.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why, so.
Yeah, my group
Then
has to
hopefully
do it,
those
but
3
they're
are
gonna-
approached.
Right.
They're gonna do much better.
If I can say I wasn't talking out there.
I said go
Like
for
15% does not meet as a grade level, I think that's good.
Yeah.
There we go. Just set the bar. Alright. So we'll, I'll add that to tomorrow, I'll see if we have time for that tomorrow, if not,
cause I
we'll do
know
that
like
next
that
week, set a
will
goal.
help your CBC blends and diagrams.
Nice.
Cause next week is
Say
the
we can talk
4th.
about
No, they have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah, so we'll just have that for
So we
maybe
can
next
start
week.
testing.
Bob, did you see her?
We'll do it next
Yeah,
week.
that's all,
Okay.
I looked at last
Maybe I
week.
did.
Cause I know
Okay.
we can't
But I
get
don't
out
understand
one
that.
day. I feel like we can't after
We'll
school,
set a goal
but
next week.
I will.
Okay, you did come
So don't worry
from school, but I think you came from nothing good.
Because like,
I'm gonna make a note though.
all
Okay.
these,
H
started.
to B.
Set the bar.
Yeah.